Fresno Dynasty League podcast. We are here live with Mr. Jordan Bain, who is joining us over the telephone.
Yeah, it's more like a cell phone. Is a telephone and a cell phone the same thing, actually?
Yeah, that's a great question. That makes me think of I think it was Mari posted something one time about a debate on whether a hot dog is a sandwich. It kind of makes me think of that. So is it a telephone call or is it a cell phone call?
I'm typing on Google telephone versus cell phone because already we have just a crazy,
We started with a debate.
Question.
Yeah.
No, they are not the same things. Real quick announcement too. Since we had the vote, first of all, this is the first time I think everybody voted on something, which is great. I love it. But yeah, we're bumping the salary cap up from $385 to $400 since there's an extra roster spot, which I think makes sense.
Yeah.
And actually, if we want to take some time to talk about the salary cap real quick, you want to do that?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, a few other minor tweaks that I didn't get everyone to vote on or anything like that because it just kind of made sense. And normally when I talk to 5 people and they all kind of agree with me, I don't, and it's something small that doesn't really give anyone a competitive advantage, I just kind of roll with it.
Yeah.
Particularly if I think nobody's really going to notice. But since the draft was longer this year, a lot longer, like twice as long, instead of the rookie contracts going down by $500 increments, it was $250 increments.
Okay.
So I think you were the only person who even like was basically concerned about it, or was like, hey, is this right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I said, it kind of makes sense anyways. It's more fair.
Yeah.
We're drafting a ton more rookies, but that being said, there's a lot more guys with $10,000 also the minimum contracts were $7,500 going into this year. I just felt like that made a lot more sense than having guys for $5,000. I mean, that's less than half of what the average salary is. So I was like, all right, well, half of the average salary. Well, now, anyways, basically salary averages are higher just due to inflation.
Yeah.
Just being 4 years into it, and minor changes that I thought made way more sense going forward. It's not like my team's right up there at the salary cap, along with a couple other people. So certainly not trying to give myself any advantage, but certainly going to make for a little more strategy. And we might actually see people forced in the next couple of years to give up good players to clear cap space.
Yeah.
So I might be in that boat as well. But, anyways, I feel like the salary cap's finally like a factor. Even though there's some guys who got to it last year, still has never really been anything that's made anyone sacrifice anything or forced them to make tough moves.
Yeah.
But now it appears that, because going into this season, I see a lot of guys over the 300,000 mark, and I think all the other years, like people had like half the salary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a big difference.
So, yeah, I'd be okay with a little debate back and forth and open to changing in the future if everyone felt that way. But like I said, I haven't really talked to anyone who feels like those changes don't make sense. So
yeah,
sometimes I'm just going to make an executive decision. I was the only one who made the decisions when I was starting it, and it just be. Can you imagine trying to do a league poll on that? That would be horrible.
That'd take forever. But,
yeah,
that was cool to see. That was cool to see everyone vote. I saw that earlier, and I was like, "Oh, dang! All 16 teams voted. That's the first time ever."
Just great. And then we had an 11 to 4 to 2 to just bump it. Who else said? Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I didn't.
Lance and Reno wanted the extra cash on there, but yeah, like I said, I think the average salary increase makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, so just some general thoughts. That way, if anyone was wondering or hadn't talked to me or just didn't care, like, no, that was intentional. And I think it's going to make for a more competitive league for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a big difference, but you know what I mean. it makes it more competitive.
Yeah. And we are back, and we're going to jump right into the draft that we're currently in. So the way it's going to work, we're just going to give a list of our top 5 favorite picks. So from each round, we picked one pick that was our favorite overall, and then we also picked the worst pick of that. So let's just start with start.
We weren't allowed to pick our own.
No, we were not allowed to pick our own. And so yeah, we're gonna start this thing off positive. So I'm gonna be a gentleman. I'll allow you to go to first.
Okay. Do you want to do love hate
Yeah, let's just go. Let's go round by round.
Okay, sweet. On board.
Yeah, so just go ahead. We'll start with the first round, and you can list off your favorite pick and then your worst pick.
Okay. Well, my favorite pick is the no-brainer, which is Ezekiel Elliott. Also, we should lay my ground rules for how I pick these. I did not pay attention to the roster needs. I just kind of looked at names of guys and picked the ones I liked for where they were at and the ones I didn't like.
Yeah, same here.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we're on the same.
Yeah, Elliott, but I feel like I had to have a 1B because Elliott's not really fair. That's not fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Because we all just, we're all on that shit. But my 1B, and I'll probably be in the minority, but I love that Mason picked Sterling Shepard at number 3. I thought that was real clutch. And I think time will tell that's going to be a smart move for now and the future.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think of the rookie receivers, will have the most immediate impact along with Michael Thomas, who I picked at 5. But yeah, basically Mason said F. Corey Coleman, F. Josh Stockton,
F everybody.
Michael Thomas, and Tyler Boyd. I'm going with Sterling Shepard, even though that was not the third pick on any list or anything I saw.
Yeah.
But I'm with Mason. Sterling Shepard was my second receiver.
Okay.
On the boards before this draft.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a ballsy decision and will be a correct one.
All right, we'll see. And how about your worst pick?
Oh, okay, all right. And my worst pick is Treadwell, because I don't think Treadwell is going to be as good as 3 or 4 other guys in this draft, and he was number 2. And I get it, because if I'm DJ, I would. Well, this isn't true. I would have passed on Treadwell if I had the second pick. Yeah. But I can understand where he's probably the most talented of the receivers and pro ready.
Yeah. But
I hate Teddy Bridgewater and I hate his situation over there.
Yeah.
And I just don't think he's set up for success.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's a tough. It's a safe pick, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, who knows? He might be great too. I mean, he's but I don't like him at number 2. I would have passed on him.
Yeah,
and also I admit I'd be in the minority.
Probably. As far as for me, my favorite pick obviously was DJ's pick, because I think that was a no-brainer for his team. Definitely needed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, for 1B, I really liked your pick. I liked the fact that you took Thomas, who wasn't high on a lot of people's radar. All the lists I looked at, he wasn't super high. But he always came up as a sneaky kind of, this guy could be huge because of the offense he's going to play in. He's playing for Drew Brees. They really don't have a number 1 receiver, besides
Cooks. But Cooks is not a big right.
Yeah.
He complements Cooks. They're going to complement each other, I think, really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's funny is, and I appreciate that. Hey, thanks, man. Maybe I'll spit some love back at you later. Or maybe not.
Maybe not.
I'm predetermined. But I've always, I guess my philosophy is, and I read a cool article about that, basically having balanced fields and whether or not like, I'm not going to be able to explain this very well. Basically, how many receivers were wide receiver ones without having a fellow wide receiver who was in the top 36 as well?
Okay.
It's very, very few. So the point is, I like balanced offenses, and I think players in balanced offenses will strive better than like a Corey Coleman in Cleveland or a Laquan Treadwell in Minnesota.
Right.
But there are exceptions to the rule, so possibly maybe those guys will be. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. And let's see here. My worst pick in the first round, I thought, was Torrey Smith on the Gotham City Reckoning. Because I think in that situation you just you take a risk on somebody who could be good. As with Torrey Smith, you know what you're getting. He's a deep threat guy, really can't do much else. He's in a crappy situation, so.
I think the hope for Torrey Smith is that if Jeremy Maclin in that offense could do what he did, maybe Torrey Smith can too.
Yeah.
And there's not really a whole lot of other wide receiver options there. And
Yeah.
You know Chip Kelly is going to sling it.
Yeah.
So I don't hate the pick there, but I definitely, it's hard because there's already, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 receivers gone.
Yeah.
6 rookie receivers. And probably like the 6 most coveted, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't think it's terrible, but I can definitely see people thinking that's a bad pick.
Yeah.
But me personally, I that wouldn't be. I think I would pick 3 or 4 other ones.
Yeah, before Torrey. Yeah.
All
right.
But I hear you.
Yeah.
See how that one works.
Round 2, your favorite and your least favorite.
My favorite is actually Charles Sims because I thought he should go in the first round. And I almost traded up at one point to try and get him.
Mm-hmm.
But ended up not being able to work anything out. Just because I don't think he's a top 12 running back, is what he put in the comments.
Yeah.
But I do think that he's going to be a productive running back if Doug Martin stays healthy. And if Doug Martin goes down, I mean, all of a sudden he is a top 12 running back.
Yeah.
But I think he'll. It's weird. I feel like the landscapes of running back in general is changing. Like, there's going to be your 4 or 5 tier, or 2 or 3 tier 1 guys, and then 4 or 5 tier 2, and then there's going to be like a whole bunch of tier. I mean, he's easily a tier 3 guy to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So you got to have tier 3 running backs on your roster.
Yep.
Especially if you don't have any tier 1, you got to have
a bunch tier 3.
You got to focus on matchups and things like that and start the right guys every week.
Yeah.
And those guys are, not easy to get necessarily.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite.
Okay.
My least favorite is is Buck Allen.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm not on the Buck Allen train. I feel like there's way too much going on in that Baltimore backfield, and I think that he will retain a role.
Yeah.
I think that Trent Richardson's going to end up beating everyone out. No, I'm just kidding. But
I forgot he's on that team. Yeah.
They did draft Kenneth Dixon, and Forsette's still there, right?
Yep, still there.
Yeah, so I think he'll have a role on that team, but I don't like his ceiling as a second round pick.
Yeah.
But in the end, that's not paying attention to the rest of your roster.
Right,
so.
right. Yeah, so I can see where you feel that way, and yeah, it makes sense because we're just looking at the name and not necessarily roster needs or anything. So yeah, I can see that.
Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong about Buck Allen at number 27 overall.
Well, I mean, if you look at my roster, there's really not many holes, and so for me, it was between him and who else was available at that time? Darren Sproles was also available. So for me, it was just need based, where I thought, okay, I need a guy to fill in on a bye week that's just gonna, do okay. And so that was my thought with Buck Allen.
10 points, maybe find it in zone.
where he did he did decent filling in, and so that's my thought. Yeah, if Forsett went down, like he could be the starter. Not a sexy pick, but enough to fill in case something happens to one of my guys. So
yeah, and there's a good chance Forsett's career can end at any moment. So
yeah.
I mean he's a safer pick, but for me in the second round, I guess I just would have gone like I took Kenyon Drake 4 picks ahead of that. So
yeah.
Oh, here's a question: would you have gone with Kenyon Drake over Buck Allen if he was there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So.
I think. Yeah, I did not think I was going to end up with Kenyon Drake at 23, but I was happy that worked out.
Yeah, and
even though he might not ever see a football field, he's so injury prone. But I guess that's kind of factoring into how I felt about the Buck Allen pick too, because like I said, I'd just go for a guy with a higher ceiling, I guess.
Yeah.
In the second round. But who knows? Who knows, man?
Yeah, you never know.
You may get to say "fuck you" to me later. Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned Kenyon Drake because now my top pick for my favorite pick for round 2 was Kenyon Drake. So,
nice.
Again, to you, because I mean I look at like recent Alabama running backs, and you can look at Mark Ingram, who's been doing pretty well recently. Eddie Lacy, who's been pretty good. I mean, he was in the doghouse last year for a little bit, but talented running back. Sean Alexander.
Eddie.
Yeah, Fat Eddie. And so yeah, I look at those guys, and I think the guy. What is it? Ajayi? How do you say his name?
Yeah,
Ajayi.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ajayi. Ahead of him, like I don't see anything special there, and that running back, like Miami committee, is always revolving, and so that's where I thought, man, you have an Alabama guy, talented guy behind, you just don't know what could happen. So
yeah, and I think if he hadn't been so injured all the time in college, like I mean, Miami took him in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Which is high for running back. I think it was the 3rd running back taken.
Yeah.
But also, he's probably going to be. I mean, if Daniel Thomas has had a role on that team for as long as he did, like I just believe Kenyon Drake is going to be more of a factor than Daniel Thomas. I mean, Lamar Miller always lost carries to people too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like he's just gonna. I feel like the ceiling's high, and
yeah.
And with my running back situation, it was worth going for the highest ceiling running back I could, and I did that twice. I felt like.
Yeah.
And both times I was surprised they were there. But,
yeah. So yeah, man, you're 2 for 2. You're 2 for 2 in my book, and let's see,
I feel bad.
Huh?
I feel kind of bad, I ripped on Buck Allen. I'm sorry, man. Sorry I did that.
It's all right. I'm gonna say Buck you at some point this year, so I'm not even worried about it. As far as my least favorite pick, I had to go with Eli Manning from the new guy, Reno Wild Orchid.
Yeah. I don't think. You know what? But he for the most part. By the way, So if you guys don't know Brian, he likes to talk a lot of fantasy football trash. But the first time he gets a chance to buy y'all a beer, he says he's going. And he loves the league so far. So.
Well, he's a dick.
Anyways, just a little.
So. Everybody thinks he's a dick.
No. Everybody?
Everybody.
Yeah. Well, Brian, you're.
Well, maybe I don't know.
He'll buy you a beer.
Maybe not Fonz, because Fonz is such like a friendly dude that kind of loves everybody. So maybe Fonz likes him, and you like him because you know him. But yeah, he's just funny because he went 0 to 100 without like knowing any of us, like right off the bat.
Yeah, I think he was just setting the tone,
Yep, sure did.
He did call me though. He was like, "Hey, am I? I'm not hurting anyone's feelings, am I? Like these guys all know I'm just fucking around, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, everyone, no one said anything." He's like, "Yeah, just be sure if anyone's feelings does get hurt, just let them know I'll buy him a beer. That I didn't mean anything by it." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't think anyone's feelings are getting hurt." He's like, "Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure."
Yeah.
So, didn't want me to share that with you guys, but it's the truth. So
yeah, it's all
he's
good.
a cool guy.
with that being
joining this fantasy football league was the best decision he's ever made.
with that being said, I still think his pick was a shitty pick. So, cause my thought process was Kirk Cousins was still behind on the board, and I think Kirk Cousins has a higher ceiling. He's younger. Eli Manning's kind of getting to the tail end. He's not a great pick.
I can picture Brian banging his head on a desk right now. His finance office listening to this.
Because I remember I took Eli like the 7th round last year, and it's hard to be down on Eli because he got me through a rough patch with Andrew Luck being hurt and gone. Yeah. So he was a part of my success, but I got him in like the 7th or 8th round, something crazy way back there. So
yeah, and part of it too is this was the first time. Well, I don't know. Brian probably still might have made that pick right then, but this is his first time even seeing a draft.
Yeah.
And this draft is not like a normal draft.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many players gone when this thing starts. It's hard to. I think if you saw how late some of the quarterbacks, like other quarterbacks, went, I think he would have been. You know what I mean? He might have had a little different strategy, but I can't really fault him. If Eli was the best quarterback, he thought that was still out there. Why roll the ride? And I'm just not sure there was any other players he liked there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Yeah, because he's getting a hang of the dynasty thing, and he's still, he's gonna kind of have that unexperience. So it makes sense.
Yeah, this is the one thing. This draft is probably the weirdest thing to try to go into without having seen it before.
Yeah.
I think the season management stuff will be pretty easy.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's just so thin. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
So other than make trades.
Yeah.
Okay, 3rd round?
Yep.
You go first.
Want me to go first? Okay. Well, yeah, speaking of what I just talked about, Eli Manning, my favorite pick in the 3rd round was Kirk Cousins for Seattle. Multiple scoregasms. Yeah, because, Maury has had this reputation just for trading, like Cam Newton after, like, a peak year when he's still really young. So he just trades all kinds of things, and he still ends up with Kirk Cousins, who I think has a really high ceiling. So to get him in the 3rd round and kind of fill his quarterback need, I thought was a good pick for being in the 3rd round.
Yeah, Cam Newton's untouchable to me if he was on my roster.
Yeah.
But I understand Maury's more of a buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
And fanatic. So I think he got what he wanted for sure in that scenario.
Yeah.
But that's Maury and I actually were even texting about this earlier today, and we kind of see it a little bit differently. But
yeah,
like I told him, he's the 2-time champ, and I haven't won anything. So
yeah, you can't really argue.
I don't really have a huge leg to stand on there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he very well might be getting just a ton of value that I just don't understand, or this peon fantasy brain doesn't get. But I do understand. I see his point of view.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I still, for myself, can't. I don't know. I just don't manage that way. I don't think that way.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my detriment. But let's see. Did you want to do your bad next? I forgot what we were doing.
Yeah. I'll do my bad next. My least favorite pick in that 3rd round was DeForest Buckner by the Boston team.
Yeah.
Just because defensive ends don't get a lot of points in our league. You could easily have a different guy every week and you'd be fine, unless you have, J.J. Watt or whoever else is behind him. But
J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
Either J.J. Watt. There's J.J. Watt and everyone else.
Yeah, and so to me it just doesn't make sense. Even Buckner wasn't like rated super high, and he's the next J.J. Watt. So for me, that was a reach for a team that has more holes than Swiss cheese. So it was tough.
Yeah, Fonz is going with the real rookie strategy here. But I tell you what, if this is the greatest rookie class of all time, Fonz might have us covered for the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
My favorite was D'Angelo Williams because I think he's still going to score points, and I think he's in that tier 3 running back conversation even with Le'Veon Bell there.
Yeah.
and who even took him? I don't remember.
Mason. Yeah, Mason.
Mason. Yeah, and that's even better for his team. Just off the top of my head, that's an even better pick.
Yeah.
So I thought getting him in the third round. I mean, the dude was a stud when he was starting. Like, he was one of the best fantasy running back once Bell was out of the picture. So
yeah,
I don't see him not getting touches, and with Bell getting hurt all the time, that's going to be more of a shared backfield.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good pick. And I also picked Forrest Buckner for a lot of the same reasons you did. That, and I would have just taken Carlos Dunlap or just another defensive end too that
yeah,
I thought, or Aaron Donald. Yeah, Aaron Donald or Buckner. Or Aaron Donald or Carlos Dunlap. Those were the two defensive linemen that should have gone first in this draft instead of DeForest Buckner. So, but who knows? Maybe he's a monster.
We could be wrong.
He's highly drafted. Yep, exactly.
We could be wrong.
All right, fourth round.
Go ahead. What was your favorite pick?
Favorite pick? I have two written here.
Okay.
And one is Dunlap. I think I just want to give him a shout out. So Dunlap was one of them.
Okay.
But my 1A, so to speak, was Tajay Sharp, and it hurts me to say that because I have Doyle Green Beckham on my team, and I think Sharp's going to push him. And I'm really counting on Beckham being the stud he should be.
Yeah.
But I think Tennessee has something going on there, and I think there's room for both Doyle Green Beckham and Tajay Sharp to be beasts over the next year, with some development.
Right.
But yeah, Sharp was a guy who I liked before he landed in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a guy, he was in my top 10 receivers. And I think that's going to be, I think Mariota and that offense is going to be all right. And they're real young, and that's a very high ceiling on that pick.
Yeah.
And that was Shane who went with that. I think that was Shane's first pick. No, that's right. Shane picked Pharaoh Cooper, and then he picked Tajay Sharp.
Yeah.
And I like Sharp a lot better than I do Cooper, but that's a different discussion. And then, unfortunately, my least favorite was Joe Flacco at 401.
You have two of my picks on the worst picks.
My least favorite, yes. And you have two of my picks on your most favorite. But you actually said a lot of the reasons when you were talking about Eli, and I know that was a late second round.
Yeah.
But we're really only talking, let's see, how many picks later? Pick 49 versus pick 29. I mean, 20 picks. I guess that's quite a way.
I'm about to backhand you with like reasons as to why that pick was smart for my team.
Okay, good. But let me finish first.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm mostly just the same sentiments you had for Eli late in the second. That's kind of my sentiments for Flacco early in the fourth. But Flacco just was not productive last year at all. Like, he just wasn't good. Now, does that mean he's not going to be good moving forward? Probably not, but I don't think that offense is that great. Yeah. I don't think Flacco's got the weapon to, I don't know. I'm just not a Flacco believer this year. Yeah. I believe Flacco has it in him to be a good quarterback. I don't think he has, or even like a fantasy relevant quarterback. I just don't. I don't see it for this year. But tell me why I'm wrong again.
All right. Well, first, Joe Flacco. Flacco means skinny in Spanish, so I like to call him Joe Skinny. So that's the first thing.
Where that comes from? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Joe Skinny. But yeah, again, my team didn't have a lot of holes, and so, I was already like tapped out at wide receiver, tapped out at running back, where I just wanted a filling guy, and so that's where Flacco came in. And then salary cap. My team was really, really up against the salary cap.
Oh, there you go.
So I had to pick like a quarterback who was under 20,000, and so I felt better. I felt better about him than I did about I don't know who else was there.
Alex Smith.
Well, no, Alex Smith was a little more expensive because he I think he did better than Joe Flacco.
He was quite a bit more expensive.
Yeah. So that's where I had to go for the bargain.
All right, the salary cap thing makes sense.
Yeah.
Because even like Fitzgerald, who I picked way later, like there were better. I felt like there were more promising quarterbacks.
Oh yeah.
Than Flacco, but if we're talking considering cap space, then I apologize. That still has upside.
Well, no, that makes sense with how we're doing our rankings because we're not factoring in anything else, and so it was between him and like Mark Sanchez possibly, and so that's where I thought, all right, it's going to be Flacco for that. So
yeah, I would take Flacco over Sanchez.
Yeah.
Or Robert Griffin.
Yeah, or RG3.
RG3 too.
And,
right.
And then I can't even think of the name. I don't know why the quarterback for the Niners, not Kaepernick, but
Oh yeah, Morey just took him today. Freaking Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, Gabbert. So I was thinking about Gabbert.
Not going to be the starter.
Gabbert, Sanchez, or Flacco. And so for me, Flacco was like, okay, he's going to be the starter. I think his bad year was a product of how bad the Ravens were overall, and I just need a guy to fill in a bye week, if anything.
Yeah.
So, and I have pieces. If luck were to fall off the planet, I have enough pieces that I think I could put together a trade for a decent quarterback.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I can understand that a whole lot more now. I just saw Flacco going 49th, and I was just like, ugh. Yeah, thinking about salary cap, that's actually not a terrible thing.
Yeah.
I would change mine to let's see here.
Somebody else. Not poor Joe Skinny.
Yeah. Did you tell us your fourth round?
No. So my favorite fourth round pick was actually Darren Sproles for Kansas Kick Awesome.
I think he made a trade to pick him too.
Yeah, he did. And so Ryan Matthews gets hurt a lot. I know Sproles is kind of upper on the age scale, but still a talented guy. And just for being...
He'll still have some games. Even
if
Matthews doesn't get hurt, he'll have some games.
Yeah.
And those happen to fall in a week where you need to play them. And,
yeah.
Good for you. And
just, with how, like, our draft, that doesn't have a ton of talented players, that Darren Sproles was around in the fourth round. When he picked him, I was like, oh, no way, Darren Sproles is still in this draft somewhere. So I thought that was a great pick for him. And then my least favorite pick was Jared Goff by the Clovis Gnomes. Because I think his team has some other holes that need to be filled. And if he's going to draft a backup quarterback, he needs to draft somebody who could do a much better job. Because I don't know how Goff's going to do. And that just doesn't seem like a safe bet to be behind Derek Carr. So.
Yeah. Once again, it comes down to I don't know who you love and you hate. Like my strategy for this year's draft was pretty simple. But I don't know if my strategy is going to pan out.
Yeah.
But so it's hard for me to, I think it was more. I was actually surprised Goff was still there in the fourth round.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, and I probably would have taken him like in the fifth or sixth round or something.
Yeah.
But I was happy someone took him, so I just didn't have to think about it anymore. And yeah, who knows? Who knows if he's going to be any good?
Yeah.
They got so many young receivers there, and they have Todd Gurley. So there's like a few things that's like, man, maybe the Rams could be good. I mean, they have Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
That's going to relieve a lot of pressure on the receivers. And they got Farrell Cooper and Mike Thomas. They still have Kenny Britt. And they have guys there who I think could be good.
Yeah.
Especially considering the best running back in the NFL probably here this year or soon.
Yeah, baby.
Le'Veon Bell is going to be on that offense. So.
Yeah. I like
but then I think AP's been in the backfield for the Vikings, and they still can't get a breakout wide receiver or balanced attack going. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right, so
Fifth round, yeah. My favorite pick in the fifth round was Paxton Lynch by Kentucky. because I really like Paxton Lynch. I think he fell to a great situation. Elway drafted him, which Elway has made some pretty good picks, made some good moves to bring him a Super Bowl. And so, Paxton Lynch is the replacement for Tom Brady, who probably won't be around that much longer for Kentucky. So I thought that was a great pick for him.
Yeah. And then your bad pick?
Bad pick was Braxton Miller by Boston. Because, just Boston has so many other holes. And Braxton Miller, a talented guy, but he's still transitioning from quarterback to receiver and just kind of in that weird place. And most of the time when those guys transition that late, their last year of college, they usually don't do too well. I think of like Eric Crouch. Remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he won the Heisman as a quarterback, didn't he? I think he won the Heisman, and then
for Nebraska.
Yeah, transitioned to receiver and just fell off the face of the planet. So
just retired.
So yeah.
Yeah, I also, my worst was Braxton Miller. So my reason is slightly different.
Yeah.
It's just that did they get Will Fuller in Houston too?
Yeah, they did.
DeAndre Hopkins, and who knows if Osweiler is actually going to be a fantasy relevant quarterback. You know what I mean? Like that offense is not an offense I want to play on unless it's DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Maybe Lamar Miller. But those would be the only two guys I would even look at.
Yeah.
Also, I'm forgetting Jalen Strong. So
Yeah.
immediately Braxton Miller is buried on that depth chart. And if he is able to get a role there, it's not going to be a favorable one for fantasy, I don't feel like.
Yeah.
But once again, you never know.
You never know.
You never know. And then my favorite, I actually had 3 written here.
Okay.
But I think my favorite in this round is actually Derek Johnson, because I think he was the second highest producing free agent linebacker.
Yeah.
And Tenori was able to get him at 5'9".
Yeah.
Middle of the 5th round. So I had Derek Johnson on my watch list all offseason, and my draft got thrown off because I actually got 2 guys I didn't think I was going to get.
Yeah.
So it messed me up. So I was actually planning. I mean, it didn't mess me up, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
I was going to get Derek Johnson in the 3rd or 4th round, and just ended up.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Everything got pushed back with what I got in the 2nd and 3rd, and then I also like Clive Walford, and I also like Malcolm Jenkins. Even though I think Malcolm Jenkins is also a product of being a safety on a Chip Kelly team.
Yeah.
So, I think whoever picked safeties from the Niners, I couldn't do it because it matched the same bye week as Rashad Jones. But anyone who picked up a Niners safety, I think is going to be happy with themselves.
That's me. So is that a little love? Am I getting a little love because of that?
Did you?
I did. I got Bethea.
Oh yeah, that was a great pick.
Yeah.
I don't know where you got him, but anywhere you got him is going to be good.
But I think it was like 6th or 7th round.
You know what I mean? There's just more plays happen.
Yeah.
So there's more chances for tackles or tip balls or turnovers.
Oh yeah.
I think I watched a lot of Eagle game last year, and Malcolm Jenkins got so many garbage tackles. It was hilarious. But he was on my team, and he ended up being like the 2nd highest producing defensive back next to Rashad Jones, who was a monster. So
yeah, he was.
So I think that they is going to be good. In case you didn't realize that when you picked them, an even better pick.
Well, see, I'm telling you, a lot of my picks had to do with I was so close to the salary cap that I had to factor in, like Jenkins. I really like Jenkins, but his price was a little too high, so I had to be on a budget almost with how I was drafting and figuring out, okay, like Bethea, he was hurt last year, so his salary dropped a ton, where he was affordable, and I thought, he's going to get a ton of tackles and all that, so.
Yep, smart man.
So that's a truth to how the cap can affect. Even with the increase, I'm still right up on it, so.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm just waiting for someone to get hurt so I can IR him.
I'm just waiting to see who will take Arian Foster. Who's gonna be the one to bite on a trade to take him off my hands?
Yeah, I don't think Arian Foster's. Who knows? Who knows what happens?
Yeah, we'll see.
You need him to sign with someone, hit a big week, and then trade him.
Yeah.
And then that person needs to hope he remains healthy. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was a good little pot. I thought this was going to be over in 10 minutes. And it actually ran for a while.
Yeah, we stretched it, so it was good. I know you mentioned it. Do you remember that what you wanted to talk about at the end?
Oh yeah. I did, and it's. Oh no. No, I don't remember. We'll get it next time. If it's important enough, I'll remember at some point.
I think it's probably that Reno Wild Orchid's a dick. I think that's what you were trying to remember.
Actually, no. I remember now. It is that basically for the prize pool.
Okay.
We might do. I know some people didn't like that the best overall record got $100.
Yeah.
Anyways, I will be sending a pull out on the prize pool for this year.
Okay.
And everyone just vote for that too, so that way we can get a definitive answer on that before everyone chums up their league ante.
Okay, I like it.
Cool.
But
well, let's do this more often now that I've done one through the phone and we know it's possible.
Yeah. Our experiment worked, and so
give the people what they want.
Exactly. People called for it, and we gave it to them. So awesome. Well, you know what? I'm gonna leave everyone with probably the best voicemail I've ever gotten in my life, and the only context I'm giving to this is that it was from Jordan Bain, and it was after the Warriors beat the Thunder in Game 7. So
too soon, man.
Yeah.
Still too soon.
I'm sorry, man, but you guys are gonna love this. So enjoy, and until next time, do it again.
Yep. Thanks, man.
All right, man.
Bye.
Later.
Give it to me again! Give it to me again! Again! The Warriors won 73 games this year! And everyone thought they were done after Game 4! The Warriors have the 2-time reigning MVP! And it was unanimous this year! And everyone thought they were done after Game 4! Oh my God! Give it to me again! Ah! The Warriors have the best record ever! Ever! And we all thought it was over after Game 4! Oh my God! Westbrook! Not as good as Curry Brook!